Welcome aboard, everyone. Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. Today we're going through Polkadot. That is dot on the exchange. Let's go into this chart. Before we do so, please make sure that if you have not done so, that you subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell if you have wanting to have notifications of our awesome videos coming away. Now we've got that out of the way, let's go into this information here. So what have we got observation wise? Okay, few things here. Obviously we had a great run the last couple of days, pulling us back almost into this previous kind of trend line that we had here before Bitcoin ruined the party. We did have a substantial retracement, in my opinion, for DOT from around about $35-36 all the way down to 22. So this is extremely good buying opportunity. We had this area here as a previous buy opportunity when we did the previous DOT video as a level of support. Obviously it came down through that. I managed to get a couple of buy orders in there. I didn't really want to have any lower. I wasn't really anticipating to buy much more DOT this year anyway, but I thought I'll just put a quick cheeky one in there, and it's just convenient that Bitcoin helped me out. But I do think anyway, naturally we would have perhaps come back to test those areas at some point, but that has passed 4 or 5 days ago. We are now on the momentum upwards, and I am super bullish with Polkadot right now. I truly believe that we will be smashing up to some really key levels here. I don't know why I've drawn that. Let me just remove that for now. Too many squares. Okay, so let me just zoom in a bit more to this so we can see. So I had this red line in here previously that I've added. Now, the reason I put this one in here is if we go back historically, there's some really key, unique strength points here of resistance and support. So I've put that in there as a level that we may be aiming for today. Now, the wick, you can't really see it. We did drop down slightly just before I pressed the start button, so we could actually be hitting this area, and I do anticipate a bit of movement around this level, and that's pretty much on 36.49. So we're not far off yet. It's going to be really interesting to see if we break that. And it'd be funny if we did it while we're recording. That'd be even more funny. So I've got that area in there. And this level here as well, which is a level of key support that we put in previously. So I'm going to remove that because I've now put a red line on there where I do believe generally that this is where I think it will be. And not necessarily bang on, but certainly around that 41.30 mark. So these two areas that got marked here, in my opinion, are very critical areas. Now, it might be a few cents off, of course, but I'm trying to move away from those big boxes because they perhaps weren't helpful for people. I'd rather be a bit more accurate in what I'm talking about here. So I'm trying to make it a bit easier. So hopefully you're enjoying, or certainly finding it better than previous videos maybe in the enhancement. I think it's an enhancement anyway. It looks more professional, even if it doesn't make any sense. But that's the main thing. So here we are at the current recording time, 35.79. It's obviously pushing towards that $36 if we can do that. If we can get this area confirmed and a level of accumulation above that, not necessarily over 1 day, but certainly a few days, which will put us back in track of our funnel here as we enter these phases. So I'm not anticipating maybe to shoot straight up here or something, which would be fantastic if it does. But I'm hoping we continue this kind of movement upwards gradually to that $40 mark. And again, I haven't put $40. I've mentioned this a few videos now. Psychologically, traders will not necessarily go for rounded numbers. In this case, for example, $40. You may see some resistance slightly lower than that. And the other reason why I put 36, not just because of historic data, but looking at the Elron chart recently, where I've sort of used this psychology of buying, selling just before a rounded number, and it seems like as these charts go in the market at the moment across most of the board, is the number is actually reducing slightly low. Now I don't know whether that's maybe a reference to awareness. General retailer investors or obviously institutional investors are now seeing perhaps like a lower signal to sell. Now, usually before that, but in the past, it would be maybe towards like 37, 38 not necessarily sometimes 39 unless it's really, really up against it, but sort of around that sort of $37, $38. And it seems like a lot of the charts are creeping down, slightly. That's why I put it at the 36 mark, just in case. So actually just earlier, I think that wick's just about there, 36.11. Now, I'm not saying it's over. I think there's still going to be a bit of a push, but I've put that there. Of course, it can be around a bit higher, of course, but I think that's a reasonably good guideline in my opinion. So let's go with that. And yeah, as I said, the next level up here around 41.30, because I do believe that if we go past this momentum of 36 and push upwards, I think we will supersede the $40 and we will try to test a bit above that. And that's where I think that's a key marker. Now, these two red lines indicate to me that if we can get this chart up here, not necessarily in one day, but certainly over the next few days, especially over here, I anticipate this area within the next 40 hours with a bit of maybe sideways training to then push this area perhaps around that sort of latter stage of September, maybe in the last week and a half, where we can push the 40. We'll get a bit of resistance there. We may get a bit of profit taking, which is understandable, because we've essentially, from that perspective, we would have gone from around about, let's say, we could argue that it's from down that level, but I'm going to go from here just to make it a bit more reasonable for the chart. So even that is a 50% increase just from that point. And if we are going to look at that price point from down here in terms of so let's say a load of people bought in here, which of course they did, because otherwise the wick wouldn't have gone all the way back up here, right? So we're just going to say that people bought in at this $22 mark. If you're getting, well, obviously maths is pretty simple on this one, but just for the argument's sake of the visuals, we're getting to that 40. That's 76% increase. Now, that's why I say we're going to get to around the 40 or 41 mark. I do anticipate a bit of a reduction. Now, that reduction could look like in the sense that we might see some buy opportunities. Going back to the boxes. Oh, funny. We might see an opportunity where it comes back to test this area here. Because historically, yes, we had 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, and then all of these here, around 5 or 6 touches around this area. So it could be an opportunity for buy-in here, these kind of levels, so between these yellow lines. But also if we do get up to that 40, yeah, I think that's a good point. Will we come back down to here? Again, that is of course possibly. I would be looking at a small percentage of buying. Again, this is not financial advice, but I might consider these myself with some of my bags actually of DOT. In the profit taking that I've had from when I got them at around $7, I think, back early this year. So I might put some in there just to sell off some of my initial accumulations. But obviously this strategy doesn't work for everyone, but I'm just putting some key indicators. I want to cover both aspects of buying and selling in all the chart analysis we do from now on. So that's really interesting to take a look at. I'm just going to remove that again for now. So I think the next 4 hours are really critical, and if we can break that 36.61 support at that level or just above it, we will push for 40 certainly in the next maybe 7 to 9 days in my opinion. Let's see what you think. Put in the comments below what you think is going to happen. Also your price predictions for DOT in this year. We'll compare them in the next video, and we'll even do our own price prediction with you guys as well. I'm really excited about Polkadot. It's an absolutely phenomenal ecosystem, gigantic partnerships, and a lot going for it as well. So we're back on track in my opinion, and that's really bullish. The RSI, as we mentioned, is still got loads of room in the tank. Of course, there's options for a bit of a wavy corrections, but I think we're going for this, guys, because look, on the histogram here, we've got the pale red here. Now that's if that went perhaps big red again, or maybe slightly higher, I'd be a bit more concerned and a bit more cautious, but that's really tailing off now. And if we zoom in, if I can, I think the MACD is touching, so I think we're going to switch this, guys, and I think we're going to go for this mark here for sure in the next 48 hours, and I think we're going to push for this certainly, maybe even by the end of next week. Let's see how this goes. I'm really excited to look at this maybe in a few years time. If anything critical happens in the chart, as always, we will jump on a quick video for you guys. But I think this is phenomenal Polkadot movement. On the week, 4% up, monthly 57% up, 3 months 38, and year to date 280. So it has been arguably a slow burner this year, but the potential is there. Certainly a big holder for me for the next 5-10 years. Absolutely. I think these prices compared to what they will be in 5-10 years are laughable. But there's certainly a gigantic opportunity this year to really get involved. And we are on the technicals. You might not see the radar on your screen. I'll have to readjust this to try and reflect that at some point. We're on a strong buy mode. I think we're going for this, guys. So let's push this. Let's get DOT up to that $40 and let's push it to that 50, because I do actually believe that we can do that potentially within this time frame up to maybe the first week of October. Let's do it. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.